Hey everybody, welcome to Pink Power Team Call. I am Emily Granat, an Emerald Ambassador, and I am super excited to talk to you guys about my journey to Jewel and then also how you can create your own journey to Jewel in Plexus. So hopefully you guys were tuning in to Super Saturday this weekend. It was amazing. So much vision casted for the future of this company. And I'm just excited for where this team is going. We have so much good stuff going on. We have so much amazing leadership, and that was confirmed over and over and over this weekend with all the jewels that got together and talked and had amazing conversation. You're in the right place at the right time, doing all the right things. So let's get into it. I just wanted to share a little bit about my personal story and kind of crack the lid off things and open up about some stuff that I haven't opened up about before, because I think it's helpful for people at all different levels to hear maybe a little bit more vulnerability about what this looks like. I joined Plexus in March of 2019, and it took me a full month of working my booty off to go silver. Hustling. I did not have a big network. I didn't have a network that trusted me after going through 2 divorces and moving all over the country and kind of being that gypsy that nobody knew what was going to be doing next. I was the person nobody trusted. And so I didn't go silver very quickly because I didn't have a network that trusted me. And so I had to really work for it. But things started to take off a little bit after that. I went gold the next month, and then senior gold either the following month or the month after that. After that, I kind of spun my wheels for a few months at senior gold before hitting ruby in January of 2020. That was a big deal for me, hitting ruby, because that was kind of a milestone for me as far as lifestyle goes. Like, I was able to move out of a pretty toxic situation that I was caught up in and get out on my own, and afford to live with just doing Plexus and training horses. And so in January 2020, I hit ruby. I was able to go to Ruby Retreat that year, which was also like mind-blowing and amazing. And of course, that was kind of the last thing before COVID hit. So last event for a while after that. Then I hit senior ruby in April of 2020, so just a few months later, and then emerald the very next month. So it was like a wild, crazy time that spring, going from ruby to senior ruby to emerald in just a matter of a couple of months. But you can probably imagine it was like fast and furious, a lot of work that whole first year, a lot of work, a lot of hustle, a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of around the clock answering my phone at all hours, just being available as much as I possibly could. During that time, I also moved myself from Tennessee to Michigan, and then Michigan to Texas, where I took a full-time job and was training horses as well. So just a lot of things going on, a lot of moves, a lot of like life stuff hitting me all at once. But I had my eye on emerald, and I was determined, no matter what, to hit emerald. That was a milestone that I was like absolutely gunning for, and I would do whatever it took, and I would work as hard as I could until I made it happen. And that's what I did. That whole first year was fast and furious and crazy. When I wasn't riding, I was working. When I wasn't working, I was riding. And it was like, just around the clock. But in the spirit of transparency, it was very much all consuming that year. It was kind of like driving a race car in the dark with no lights on. It was going fast, but I had no idea where I was going, and the road conditions were uncertain, and I was just trying to react as quickly as I could and adjust on the fly. There really is no right or wrong way to build a jewel team in Plexus. People go at all different paces. They have all different motivations. Some people go fast, some people go slow. Some people start off slow and pick up momentum. Some people start off like a rocket and hit plateaus. But there's no right or wrong way to go emerald or to go jewel or to go diamond in Plexus. There's all different kinds of journeys that happen. But for me, it became the vehicle that God used to grow and stretch me in all different areas of my life. It was like being thrown into the refiner's fire and heating that baby up to 9,000 degrees and then coming out refined. It was like intensity on steroids, but so worth it in the end, because I really truly was refined by that whole process. But with all of that experience comes a lot of wisdom. After hitting emerald, I still had a lot to learn, and I still have a lot to learn, and everybody in this whole company has a lot to learn. I noticed that this weekend when I was talking to people who had 15 level 1 jewels on their team. Like, they still want to learn. They still want to keep going. There's never a point where you reach the pinnacle of this thing and you quit learning. There's always more to learn. So after I hit emerald, still had plenty of things to learn. I really kind of rode that high of hitting emerald for a few months, but eventually my business reflected where my skill set and where my leadership lid was at. I like to say your business will rise to the level of your vision, but it will fall to the level of your systems. And systems are something I didn't have. My business was fast and furious and crazy, but there was not a lot of like well-oiled machine type systems happening. I was feeling my way through the dark and leading with a lot of vision and a lot of excitement, but not a lot of well-oiled skills. So since then, I have been able to hone in on a lot of those skills and work with all the people on my team in their individual levels, helping them develop skills where they are at. Not only did that help me re-rank Emerald a couple of months later, but it helped me build a wider, more sustainable business that has continued to grow since. Although I haven't had the same fast and furious momentum, I've been able to experience almost 1,000-point growth since hitting Emerald. And that has happened in a way that's been stable and has created a foundation for long-term growth. So for me, that has been a huge blessing to see that not only can this business grow fast and furious, but it can also grow sustainably month after month after month. And that's also very exciting to see. So what did I learn through all of that? Vision and belief and the right mindset is useless without the right skills and action. And skills and action are useless without a vision of where you are going in a healthy mindset. Just imagine if I got in my truck, turned on the key, put on my seatbelt, pull out the driveway, check my mirrors, drive around the block, pull back in my driveway, open up the garage, turn off my truck, and get out. I have taken a lot of action, but I still have not gone anywhere. I did a lot of things, but I didn't go anywhere, and you can circle the block over and over and over in this business. You can go around and around and around, get back in your car, go out the driveway, around the block, come back and get in the same driveway. And you've taken a lot of action, but you still haven't gone anywhere. A skill set without the right vision is just busy work. It's a task to complete that makes you feel accomplished, but it does not make progress. On the opposite end of that spectrum, a great mindset with the belief that you can be successful and the vision to go to the top of the company without the skill set and work ethic to get you there is just an empty wish. What if I got in the same truck every day, buckled up, closed my eyes, and prayed that God would take me to the destination of my dreams? What if I cranked up the personal growth podcast, looked in my rearview mirror, said my affirmations, put on a good shade of lipstick, and believed with all my heart that I could get to the destination but I never even started up my truck or put it in drive. Clearly, we need both things working for us. We need the skills and we need the vision and we need the mindset to make it all work together to move forward. So let's get into what specifically we need to be working on. I broke this down by rank. And so what I want you guys to do is take notes for each rank. That way you have something to look forward to. Even if you're just starting, you haven't even gone silver yet, this is for you. You can write down these things and it will become like a roadmap for you to move forward through the ranks. So I want you to write down these skill sets and these mindsets and rate yourself on all of them on a scale of 1 to 10, how confident you feel in them, how excited you feel about them, whatever. Rate yourself and then talk with your sponsor about where you're at with all of these. So to get to silver, what do you need? You need, and I'm going to go through mindset and skill set on each of these. So I'm starting with mindset. To get to silver or senior silver, you need courage and you need enthusiasm for your mindset. It takes courage to put yourself out there. It's the first step in a journey of 1,000 steps. It takes some courage to get that ball rolling, to send the first message, to put up the first post, and it takes enthusiasm. Enthusiasm and excitement can get you a long ways in this business. Skill set for silver to senior silver. Creating prospect lists. So, when I first started, I made a list of hundreds of names of people. And then one by one, I just reached out to them. I was motivated, so I would reach out to 5 or 10 people a day. And every time I reached out to them, I'd put a little tally by their name. And every time I followed up, I'd put a tally by their name. And as I got going, I noticed, once I got 10, 12, 15 tallies by their name, they were signing up, right? It built my belief in the follow-up system and in just planting the seeds and watering the seeds and cultivating the seeds. So creating prospect lists is a skill set you need for silver to senior silver. Starting conversations, the send, share, invite system, posting testimonies and copy and paste informative posts, personal pictures, and inviting people in on the journey. If you're just starting and you're working towards going silver and you haven't used the products very long, this is the time to invite people in on the journey, not to try to sell a product, right? So you can't really sell something you haven't used, and you can't really sell something you haven't seen results with yet. So if it's like your first week, you're brand new to this, you can still do this and you can still get going right off the bat in a really authentic way by just sharing with people what you're up to. Like, it's just like saying like, hey, let's go try that new restaurant down the road. I haven't tried it yet. I don't know what it tastes like. I don't know what the food's like, but I'm excited about it. It's the same thing with inviting people in on your journey. That will get you to silver. And then I have book recommendations for each rank as well. So books for silvers is Get Over Your Dang Self. It's the real word. So if you want to look it up, that's what it is. Get Over Your Dang Self. And that is a book specifically on network marketing and the skills that you need for network marketing. The second one is How to Win Friends and Influence People. This is a business built off of networking and people. And so this book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, will set the tone for the rest of your journey with your business. Okay, so to get to gold, the mindset you need is a growth mindset and eagerness to learn, discipline, so at gold, we're working on habit forming. So habit forming with your IPA, regular posting, regular messaging, getting in the habit of those things. Another mindset is curiosity. So being curious about this business and learning everything that you can, asking lots of questions, and coachability. So the people that move fast in this business are the people that are easily molded and pliable. If you are somebody that's kind of like stuck in your own ways, or you like to do everything your way, or you don't like to have people give you feedback, it's going to make your journey a heck of a lot harder than it needs to be. Being coachable will be your best friend in this business. We have the most amazing team in Plexus, the best training that's out there. And so you can kind of rest in that and know that we have all the right things to get you to where you want to go. You just need to be coachable and open-minded to it. Skill set for getting to gold. Posting, reaching out, following up, so regular IPA. Mastering verbiage for reaching out and following up. So as a gold, you should be focusing on, sending the verbiage that you are using to your sponsor and having them help you tweak it, using verbiage that is tried and true from the team page, asking for regular feedback on that type of stuff. Overcoming cost objections. That's another skill set that you need to start developing really well at gold. Using the retention system, product knowledge, and getting familiar with the systems for onboarding, retention, and silver development. And then the next thing, utilizing the virtual office for things like the perks report, keeping track of orders, credit card declines, subscriptions, etc. So those are the things that I would be focusing on as I'm going to gold and as I'm teaching people to go to gold. On to see, and book suggestions for that rank. The slight edge, because we're working on habit forming, the slight edge is super amazing for that. The Power of 5 and the 5 levels of leadership. Both of those last two are John Maxwell books and really, really important for bumping you up to that next level of leadership. Okay, so senior gold, mindset. Focus. This is one you need to be working on for senior gold, focusing in on all the things that you're doing. So as a silver to gold, you're taking in a lot of information. Like, it's a lot, and it can be overwhelming in the beginning. There is a wealth of knowledge here on this team page, and we have access to all the corporate trainings and all the things. And you can kind of get lost in the rabbit hole of just like consuming things and information. So at senior gold, I'm trying to get people to focus on what's really, really important. Another mindset, vision for short-term and long-term. So, at senior gold, I want you to be looking at this long-term a little bit more and thinking about what's this going to mean for you when you hit ruby, when you hit senior ruby, when you hit sapphire, when you hit diamond. What is this business going to do for you, and how is it going to change you? So thinking about vision, also looking outside of yourself and beginning to see potential in the people around you and your team. That's kind of a mindset thing too. And then lastly on mindset is initiative. So continuing to look for ways to grow yourself and educate yourself and take action on things, even if you're not being told to. So at this point, you should have had a lot of habits already starting to form. Things should be starting, to feel like second nature as far as like messaging people and posting and things like that. From there, you want to take initiative to look for ways to grow on your own. Skill sets for senior gold, posting to attract business builders. So kind of shifting a little bit from just only posting about the products to posting about the business opportunity as well, and posting to attract business builders. Because you can't do this alone, right? Like, we say that a lot. You need a team working with you to be able to go to the top. Next thing, handling objections to the business. So, what are those common objections? People are afraid of what other people will think. They are afraid they don't have a big enough network. They're too busy. Kids, unsupportive spouse or husband or spouse or family. Those are probably the most common objections that we get to the business. So learning how to handle those things and working with your sponsor to come up with responses to these things and help people move past objections. Another skill set is helping people develop beyond silver. So in other words, going back to what I just talked about with golds, you're helping them form habits with their IPA and moving past all of that. Learning to work with different personalities, doing regular coaching calls. So first of all, with your own upline, but then next with your level 1 workers. Regular meaning like weekly or once every other week at a minimum. Helping people through detox, troubleshooting, dosing, evaluating lifestyle, and making suggestions with people. So just basically getting more and more familiar with the products, the systems, and how to help people get to their health goals. Also nailing down your personal vision. So this should continue to expand and grow and evolve with each rank. It's something you want to continually look at and, just evolve as things go. And then the last thing is mastering the systems that you use every day and helping your level 1s master them too. So if you're feeling confident about the systems that you're using and teaching other people on your team to use them as well, it's going to help grow and stabilize your business at the same time. Book suggestions for senior goals, 21 irrefutable laws of leadership, and the 4 color personalities of MLM. The 4 color personalities just scratches the surface of personality typing and learning to work with different personalities and also embrace your own personality. So helping you find your strengths first, but then also helping you see strengths in other people that you would want to work with on your team. Okay, so getting to Ruby, mindset, diligence, long haul thinking, marathon, not a sprint, and sustainable activities and routines. So I feel like when I see people getting to Ruby, this is where they're like, oh my goodness, like this is taking a minute. This is a lot of work. I've been taking in all of this information and things have been crazy. But when you're getting to Ruby, I feel like it's really important to develop that diligence. Discipline is important, but diligence is also important. So diligence is doing it when you really don't feel like it. And it's doing it with the long-term vision in mind. It's thinking about this as a marathon, not a sprint. So that's kind of the mindset I want Rubies to wrap their head around. Skill set, attraction marketing. So just kind of like you're evolving your brand, right? As we go in this business, we tinker with it. We keep playing with it. We keep evolving it as it goes. So when you first start posting, you don't know what you're doing. You're posting whatever comes up that you see that you can copy and paste, or whatever your sponsor tells you to post, right? But as you get going further down the road, you should start to think about doing more and more quality posts, doing more and more attraction marketing, and just kind of like tinkering with it. It's not something you have to overhaul your entire Instagram page and overhaul your entire Facebook page with all at once. It's something you play with and you get better with over time and just kind of pick away at it. Next thing, vision casting. So, as you're growing a team and as you're getting more business builders on your team, casting that vision to people and helping them see what this could do for them is going to take you to the next level. Road mapping for rank ups. So helping your team roadmap, what do they need to do next to get to their next rank? How many points do they need? How many silvers do they need to develop? And so on. Communication and consistent coaching calls, Zoom calls if you can, but especially with your upline, and then also with all your level 1s, and you can do them with your level 2s as well. But just consistent coaching calls, being in communication with your team super frequently. That's something that I feel like is often overlooked, but very, very, very important to just be talking and communicating with your team, because you just never know what's going on in people's heads. The more that you can be talking and just back and forth communication with your team, your upline and your downline, the quicker you're going to move forward. So book recommendations for getting to Ruby, the road back to you. So this is getting a little bit deeper into personality typing and understanding people and understanding yourself. This is going to help you have more empathy for people and understand how to lead them better. So that is all about the Enneagram. The next one is Dare to Lead. And I actually wrote down the book that I recommended for Silvers as well, because it's always good to revisit this book to get back to the basics. But that one is Get Over Your Dang Self. I'm getting ready to read it for the 4th time. And so it's one of those books that just needs to be revisited quite often. And so that's going to help you get back to the basics and teach your new sharers the basics as well. And then the last one I recommend for getting to Ruby or rubies is Get Out of Your Head by Jeannie Allen too. So just helps with mindset and helping to get control of your thoughts. Okay, so running out of time, but senior rubies, how to get to senior ruby. Mindset for senior rubies: connection, vision for potential, gratitude, awareness, and openness. So connection, I wrote this down for senior rubies because as your team starts to grow and expand, sometimes it can kind of feel weird when you start feeling disconnected from your deeper levels. So you're gonna have people joining your team that you've never met their sponsor, and you've never met their sponsor. So your team grows outside of you, which is what we all want, but it can feel like you're losing connection. And so the mindset I want you to have is looking for ways to be connected with these people. So that can be through vulnerability through your posts, adding them on Facebook and, becoming a friend to them, visible leadership so that they feel connected to you. And then, vision for potential, developing a mindset and vision for other people. So seeing potential in other people and having a vision for other people is important. Gratitude. Sometimes, you can hit layers of burnout or layers of like, man, this is frustrating, I'm stuck, or whatever. You can hit those different levels or plateaus in this business, and you can get out of them by being grateful. So when you're hitting a plateau, when you're hitting a point where you're like, maybe you're even resenting things or frustrated, gratefulness will get you out of that. Doing a gratitude journal is an amazing way to do that or to address that issue. And then openness for feedback and criticism. So, as you're growing, as you're getting a bigger team going, you have a lot of moving parts. You need to be working with your sponsor closer than ever, because they're going to see things, they're going to have the foresight to see things that you can't see yet. And you have to be open to their constructive feedback and criticism and ideas, because they have the vision in front of them and they know what it takes to get there. And they also have made mistakes themselves and learned from them. So openness to feedback at this point in time is so important. Skill set, coaching level ones and digging in deeper, asking more questions about duplication to find problems and head them off before they become bigger. Creating and training creating training content for team calls, videos for the team page, adding to the guide section. All these things are what you want to be working on as a Ruby Senior Ruby. Adding value to the team page and adding value to the entire team as a whole is really important, because it gives you visible leadership. It gives you ownership in what we're doing here. And you've already, to get to this level, you've already mastered a lot of these skills. So passing on those skills to other people is important. And then evaluating and ironing out duplication systems and things that are already in use. So are there things that need to be improved? Are they simple enough? Are your resources easy to find and use? So just kind of like tweaking and working to kind of pick things apart a little bit, make sure everything's well-oiled and working well. And then the next thing is empowering leaders to take initiative and to step into their own leadership roles, be more visible, etc. So you want all your level ones doing the same things that you're doing. So helping them take initiative and, step into that leadership role at this rank is super important. And then lastly, to get to Emerald, mindset, there's some shifts here. So mindset, courage, back to courage, back to all the way back to silver, when we've had the courage to put the first post up, the courage to send the first message. Same thing with getting to emerald. It takes some courage, right? It's a new level. It's a whole different ball game. So having the courage to even go there, you know, sometimes I hear things about people being almost afraid of that success or afraid of what it might look like when they are a jewel or leading a jewel team. Next thing for mindset, energy. It's going to take some energy to get to jewel or diamond or wherever. It requires mental energy, emotional energy, physical energy to do it. There's no just coasting in. I don't think I've ever heard of a team that has just kind of cruised on up to the top. It takes some gumption, right? So energy, love and service, loving your team, knowing your leaders, being involved, talking often, like really loving your team. That's important. That's going to get you to emerald. Belief for where you're going, but belief in your people too. Belief in where they're going. Excitement, you know, back to the beginning with excitement too. Excitement gets you a long ways. Like people need excitement to help them get going, to help move them to courage and to taking action. Endurance, you're going to need some endurance to go to be a jewel in this company, right? Like there's so much up and down. It is a marathon, not a sprint, right? So some endurance in this is good. And then lastly, vulnerability. Vulnerability breeds trust. And you're going to be growing a team that is really far removed from you. So, you know, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 levels deep and potentially really disconnected to you. So the more vulnerable you are, the more they will trust you going forward. And that doesn't look like just spilling your junk to everybody and anybody that listens. Vulnerability is much different than that. There's some really good books in here that I will recommend on vulnerability. Skill set for emerald, emotional maturity. Yes, it's a skill. It's something that you can develop. Emotional maturity isn't something that just happens to you as you get older. You have to go out looking for it through personal growth, experience, and educating yourself. Navigating conflict, having difficult conversations, reading people and encouraging them where they're at. So this kind of goes back to like the Enneagram and the 4 color personalities, learning to read people and see where they're at and meet them where they're at. Vision casting to your whole team through posts, calls, videos in the team page, team calls. So, you know, keeping that vision in front of your whole entire team by what you're putting out there as a visible leader. Also using your virtual office to find people close to goals, track progress, see trends, holes in your business. This is something I started taking really seriously about a year ago. I mean, I always used my virtual office, but I started tracking trends, and that really empowered me to see where and why things were happening. So, you know, as your team grows bigger and bigger, you're able to see trends, and being able to track those and use that information is really powerful. Another skill set, empathy. And it really is a skill, like learning to feel for people and to be connected to people in tough moments, in great moments, in all the moments in between, but having empathy and being connected to your people. Encouraging initiative and some independence from your leaders, encouraging them in their strengths and utilizing them on a team-wide level. So not only encouraging them in their strengths, but being like kind of pushing them out into the world a little bit and helping them take some steps on their own. And then collaborating with your upline and leaders for larger events, challenges, things like that. So those are the skill sets you're going to need to focus on as you're going emerald. Book suggestions. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And I recommend that because a lot of people have a fear of success, a fear of money, or they have funny money mindsets about making too much money. I've run into that a lot. So Rich Dad, Poor Dad is a suggestion for that. The Path Between Us is a book. It's kind of a spinoff of The Road Back to You. And it's all about the Enneagram and how it works in relationships. So, and then also going back to, again, Get Over Your Dang Self. I have this in here 3 times, you guys, because this book is the very first book that I read when I was going silver. Like, it was the very first book club I was ever a part of. And it totally set up my mindset and my skill set and my perspective on how this business really works. And so, you know, when you get into the higher ranks in this thing, sometimes it's easy to forget where you came from and forget how you went silver and how to develop silvers and things like that. So getting back to the basics again, and making sure that people understand those basics and are doing all of the little things from the beginning. So that's why I suggested it 3 times. And yeah, that is pretty much it. Those are my book suggestions for Emerald, but I should wrap this up too. I'm running late, but anyways, goes back to skill sets and mindsets for each rank, and kind of just having this picture hopefully gives you a little bit of a roadmap and an idea of like what you should be focusing on with where you are at and with where you want to go. So if you want to get things moving faster, look at some of the skills in the rank, you know, ahead of you, and try to develop those things and work with your sponsor closely on your mindset as well. So anyways, I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you guys for jumping on here tonight and listening to my story. I love y'all, and I hope you have an amazing night. Thank you.